2019. And Saskatchewan won the toss, and they have deferred, so Ottawa will get the ball first. And back for it, Brandon Dandridge and Tobias Harris for the kick by Brett Lawther, who was the hero the last time these two teams met a few weeks ago with a 54-yard field goal to win it at Mosaic. Friday Night Football, part one of a doubleheader, is underway. It is bobbled there by Harris at the 14. Picks it up. Coverage downfield is good by the Riders as he gets it across the 20. And so on comes Dustin Crum. Another start for him in an interesting season where he has had good performances, but they haven't been able to finish the job, and they've lost 7 straight games.
Yeah, you look at Crum, and of course this has been the year of young quarterbacks. Of course, our buzzword has been growth. We see growth in these guys from week to week. I think that has been the case with Dustin Crum. You consider his first year as a starter, he's given them a chance to win every week, but they need to win some of those games.
The running back is Devontae Williams. He has the ball. Last game he played here against Hamilton a couple of weeks ago, ran for over 150 yards.
Taking a look at this offense for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, second-year man Cyril Hogan-Sandon, Oval product, gets the start, a second-year draft pick a year ago for Ottawa. Shaq Evans, of course, facing off against a number of former teammates. Former Rider, working his way back into form still for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Second and long after that 1-yard gain by Williams. Crum to pass right side and just off the hands of Tavon Smith. Starting as the wide side out after an injury to Nate Bahar forced the REDBLACKS to do some juggling at receiver. Third down.
And there you see tough adjustment on the high ball there for Smith as that one gets away.
And so Richie Leone, veteran punter, back to kick it away and standing at his 10 after that 2-and-out by the REDBLACKS offense. One of the top punters year in, year out in the CFL, Richie Leone. And Mario Alford, after a punt of 56, is surrounded by red and black, and he's taken right down at the Saskatchewan 30. So good job by Leone to at least make sure the Riders don't start in great field position. Not bad, though, for Jake Dolegala. As you look at his numbers, the starting quarterback for the last month for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and the thing that jumps off the page at you is those 7 touchdown passes versus just 2 interceptions for Dolegala.
Last week, 20 and 24 for 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick in that loss to the Edmonton Elks at Mosaic. From the Saskatchewan 32, and it's off to Sean Bain. Yards after the catch as he gets it up close to the 45, and a first down right out of the gate for the green and white.
And a quick look at the Saskatchewan offense. Phil Blake, the veteran, 37 years old. He makes his start at left guard, taking over from Evan Johnson along that Saskatchewan offensive line. And you mentioned this receiving core. 3 guys enjoying breakout seasons, including the Montrealer, Samuel Emelis.
Faking to Frankie Hickson and throwing again, and it is complete across midfield to Kean Schaefer-Baker. Gets it down close to the Ottawa 50, and back-to-back first down plays for this Saskatchewan offense.
And defensively for Ottawa, of course, they would like to get Lorenzo Malden going. Plenty of hurries for him, but still stuck at just 3 sacks for the reigning defensive player of the year. Douglas Coleman had been a game-time decision. He's going to give it a go tonight at the nickel linebacker spot. 2 newer faces at halfback, Damon Webb, DeAndre Lamont, in for Cariel Brooks and Abdul Kenna.
Empty backfield, and it's completed again. This time, the first catch for Tevin Jones, and a shorter pickup that time with a second and long coming up here now. In his second CFL season out of Central Connecticut, had some time in the National Football League as well, but making the most of his opportunity. Took over when Mason Fine got injured after 3 games after he had taken over for Trevor Harris. 2nd and 7. The Ottawa 48, the pressure, and down he goes. The blitz came, and he has taken down Douglas Coleman, the strong side linebacker, who's really had an impressive season on that REDBLACKS defense. Part of the crew coming in to take him down and force the Riders into a punting situation.
Yeah, and you can see the posture of Coleman tucked in behind. Lorenzo Malden here loops inside, hits that A gap. Untouched, he and Bryce Carter in on the sack.
Bryce Carter, their sacks leader, is in on that with Coleman. And Adam Korsak on the punt for the first time in this young game. Gets it away from his 45. Brandon Dandridge back to take it after a punt at 44. And more good coverage on special teams for Saskatchewan to make sure he doesn't go any further. Coleman and Carter coming in to take down Jake Dolegala. Friday Night Football, scoreless tie. A 50-yarder with a 10-point lead, and Terry Williams, the ex-Red Black, hit there by Ward, who ended up getting hurt, and Williams took the missed field goal back for a touchdown, and the comeback was complete here. Vernon Adams, the lucky Whitehead. Bob Dice took a lot of heat, Wayne, for going for that long field goal when they were up by 10.
Yeah, he did, and going by the book, as you hear coaches refer to the book.
Little fake there, and it's completed too. Up to Jalen Acklin, so he gets the first down.
You know, people question the decision based on the numbers, playing the odds and so on, the risk of that being returned. But I also think that a lot of the criticism of the decision is in hindsight, right? In terms of
because it was returned for a touchdown.
Because it was returned for a touchdown, it becomes an easy target. A punt could have been returned for a touchdown too. I think sometimes as coaches, you coach by feel sometimes as to what's going on in the game, and you go against the book, and this time the gamble cost Bob Dice, unfortunately.
Toss inside to Hardy, who gets it up across the 30 after that first down gain on the pass to Jalen Acklin. Micah Tights in on the tackles. We look at that Rider defense.
Yeah, big absence with Anthony Lanier out of the lineup. Christian Albright get the start at defensive end in his place. C.J. Rivas moves into that nickel linebacker spot. As you heard the panel discussing pre-game, the move of Derek Moncrief back to free safety, and we'll see what impact that has and what challenges are created as well by the usual nickel linebacker playing a little further off the ball.
2-yard gain, Hardy. Second down and long as Crum looks, and he completes it up to around the 35. And that is still well shy of a first down. It's Acklin again with his second catch on the night, but the punting unit will come on again.
Yeah, Acklin from the slot just working underneath here. You see he's the further back of those two receivers, trying to get a clear out. But Saskatchewan sitting down on that pretty well. Larry Dean, the veteran middle linebacker, in on the tackle.
Leone, 50-40-yarder last time. Good punt, 42 yards. But taken there by Alford, and nowhere to go. The veteran Nigel Romick in on the tackle there. Jake Dolegala started 3 for 3. The drive stalled, but Saskatchewan has the ball again in a 0-0 tie on a Friday against the Edmonton Elks. He threw 20 of 34, 213 with 3 touchdown passes, 1 picked off in a game that they led in the fourth quarter, but got outscored by the Elks 16-0 in that fourth as Edmonton came back for the victory. But certainly Dwayne looking more and more poised with each start, it seems.
Yeah, he certainly has, and obviously has given them a little bit more of an opportunity to push the ball downfield, I think, than they felt they had with Mason Fine. Fine back in as number 2 tonight, by the way.
Toss to Frankie Hickson. And first big carry for Hickson as he gets it up across the 45. He had over 500 yards rushing, backing up Jamal Morrow last season, and when Morrow was out, he took advantage of the chance, but just not that many touches this year.
Yeah, good start here, though, nonetheless, for Hickson and that Saskatchewan offensive line, the right side. Doing a nice job there. Logan Furland at guard, Brandon Council, the right tackle.
Coming in, just 16 carries for 58 yards. That one a carry of 9, setting up second and short for the Roughriders. And Pickett is in. Antonio Pipkin, excuse me, is in to get the first down. The third-string quarterback now in behind Dolegala and Mason Fine.
And there you see the numbers through his first 4 starts for Dolegala. completion percentage is certainly respectable, a little lower than many quarterbacks in the league right now. But I think the fact is, again, he's been able to create a vertical threat.
On that first down, over the middle, and an open receiver, too. It's Schaefer Baker with his second catch of the night, as the Rider offense is on the move in the Ottawa zone and inside the 45.
You see Schaefer Baker just quick cut in as you see how far off the defenders were playing. He takes advantage of that gap. Quick hitter, high percentage throw there from Dolegala, who uses that height. Gives him advantage in terms of finding passing lanes.
Being a 19, Frankie Hickson right side, breaking through again. Stays on his feet. Adam O'Clair finally hauls him down. Gets it down inside the Ottawa 25 is another big carry for Frankie Hickson, signaling the first down.
Yeah, Frankie Hickson, not a big man, but as you saw in that carry, he can pack a little bit of a punch, dropping the shoulder on Damon Webb on that one to pick up a few extra yards.
Spotted right at the 25 for Saskatchewan. Still no points on the board, but the Riders are threatening here in Ottawa. Their first game here since June 2019. Off to the right, it's complete. Tevin Jones gets it inside the 15. Should be another first down for the Riders.
And continuing to attack with that short to intermediate, high percentage passing game. We'll see as this game starts to unfold if they get the Ottawa defenders starting to creep up to try to create some big plays over the top.
Great start, 6 for 6, 73 yards, and they're getting close. Inside the 5, Schaefer Baker, touchdown maker. Saskatchewan gets on the board first here in Ottawa.
Well, injuries to start the season in the Saskatchewan receiving corps created an opportunity for guys like Tevin Jones, Sean Bain, Samuel Emelis to really break out, and it just makes the group that much stronger when they get arguably their most talented receiver back, Keon Schaefer Baker, missing the start of the season, but rounding his way into form.
Came into this game with 1 touchdown, so there's number 2 for a guy, as you pointed out, Dwayne, has missed much of the season with injury. Brett Locker capping off this, a 6-play, 74-yard drive with the extra point. Keon Schaefer Baker in his 3rd year out of Guelph from Jake Dolegala. Perfect so far on a beautiful night here in Ottawa. The Rough Riders lead the Red Blacks 7-0 Friday Night Football on TSN.
In that offensive line, I thought really did a nice job setting the tone on that drive. Couple of big runs from number 20, Dolegala, continuing to deliver the ball with confidence and authority. Short passing game, nickel and diming their way down the field very efficiently for the touchdown.
Hey, that's a nice warm-up right there, bro.
And they adjusted the stats now, making it a 6 for 6, not 7 for 7 Dolegala, but nonetheless perfect so far. Schaefer Baker got that last one for the touchdown, and the Rider lead as Lawther kicks it off. Tobias Harris, he's back for it at the 10. For the Red Blacks in an early hole. Kosi Onyeka and Jackson Ford coming in to take him down inside the 25. Beautiful September night in the nation's capital. We'll be back.
They have not won at TD Place since 2017, but he's mentored a lot of these riders. Emelis, Schaefer Baker. He wouldn't mention the name Nick Marshall. He just said, you know what, I'm excited to go up against my former DB, number 3, and I don't want to win by 3 points. I want to win by a bunch of scores, guys.
It was funny in the Zoom, just calling him number 3, Claire. Friends otherwise, not tonight, though. They'll meet up a few times, I'm sure. Crum on the first down, dumps it off to Williams. Then up to the 30 and trying to tiptoe up to the 35 as well. And a good gain on first down, about 9 yards, 2nd and short coming up.
Yeah, had the screen set up off that sprint action thrown back to Devontae Williams. But yeah, certainly for a guy like Shaq Evans, so many familiar faces on the other side. But as you alluded to, no friends in game week.
On that 2nd and short, Crum stays in and keeps it himself. Just needed about a yard. For a quarterback renowned for running, although usually in short yardage, goes to Tyrell Pigram in those cases. But Evans, one of the top receivers in the CFL in 2019. That game, looking back, really helped launch him. He was around in 18, but became an all-star in 19. And Kyron Moore, now with Edmonton, was on that receiving core as well with Saskatchewan. They've had a lot of turnover, but remember Shaq Evans days in green and white. This is second game against his old team. Last time, a few weeks ago, 4 catches for 38 yards back in week 9. First down, and that's Williams. Keeps his feet, and a flag comes out as he kept fighting for more and more yardage. It's up around the 40 after a pickup of about 4. C.J. Rivas among those in on the contact.
Major foul, face mask, Saskatchewan number 42. 15 yards at the end of the play and an automatic first down.
Because the referee Tim Croker on the safety tonight, Derek Moncrief.
Yeah, Moncrief looks like he's looking up for the replay as he gets back into position. Not convinced of the call, but they've made a little boost here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS out to midfield.
And a first down for Crum out of shotgun. He has time, but he runs out of time, and a flag comes out as well. Christian Albright there to finish it off. Charbel DeBeer in there to get some heat on Crum, who just couldn't find a receiver downfield.
Holding. Ottawa number 54. Legal contact on the receiver. Saskatchewan number 22. Those penalties will offset. Repeat first down.
So Jacob Ruby is the old lineman with the REDBLACKS who got flagged. But yes, penalties that cancel each other out because of the illegal contact. So let's do it again. First down near midfield.
Yeah, that contact. You see Jalen Ackland trying to cut inside. Just kind of caught C.J. Rivas a little flat-footed. Insult to injury there with the penalty, as well as getting knocked down in the collision.
Rivas coming to, and a flag comes out. He was blitzing, and it's off quickly, and breaking free is Braylon Addison, with Moncrief taking him down inside the Rider 45. Couple of flags down on opposite sides of the field. As you saw Rivas trying to time it out. And Moncrief pretty fired up with hearing about it from his head coach, Craig Dickinson.
And here we'll see the hitch out to Crum's left to Braylon Addison, who makes a nice move as there's the unblocked man. Amari Henderson, great move to get inside. That flag down as Rivas was across early on the blitz off the edge.
Still awaiting word from Tim Croker.
Offside against Saskatchewan. The penalties declined. At the end of the play, there's a misconduct foul, unnecessary roughness against Saskatchewan. It's 15 yards and a first down.
So that moves the REDBLACKS down a lot quicker, and Craig Dickinson has spoke many times about this season how he wanted it to be different. Those after the play fouls. Moncrief there on Addison, little shove afterwards.
Yeah, and unless something was said, it's hard to imagine in that instance what had Moncrief so angered. You heard Craig Dickinson trying to calm him down.
So first down all the way inside the 30 on the penalty. And that is taken by Williams down closer to the 20. A second and short coming up here for the REDBLACKS, trying to answer back after the Kean Schaefer-Baker touchdown has the Riders in the lead.
And Ottawa certainly looking to take advantage of a couple of gifts given to them by the Roughriders on this drive in the form of those penalties. Some big chunks of yardage.
Second and 3, Saskatchewan 21. Faking the handoff, Brown takes off, and he is tackled nicely there by Larry Dean, but does have enough for the first down as the Sticks move inside the 20. Red Blacks in scoring position now.
Yeah, the pace in terms of those rushing yards has certainly slowed down for Dustin Crum after his first couple of games. He basically forced teams to become very wary of what he could do with his legs, so the opportunities for the called runs aren't as plentiful. But an effective one there to move the Sticks.
Red Blacks have it down to the Saskatchewan 16. First and 10. Crum takes a look into the end zone and open. Oh, and a little trip up for Devontae Williams. It all looked like it was timing out fine, and just a little misstep and just beyond his outstretched arms, falling incomplete.
Yeah, and you'll see the ball looks well placed. Williams has good separation, but just stumbles. Looked like that right toe, right foot stubbed his toe into the turf, and down he went.
So a 2nd and 10 now. Crum has time. Albright's chasing him, can't get him. Finally dumps it off, and we get a 3rd down coming up.
Just looking back, as Saskatchewan comes up with the stop at this missed opportunity. The right play at the right time.
Legal contact on receiver, Saskatchewan number 37. Penalties half the distance to goal and a 1st down.
Well, penalties just killing the Roughriders now when it looked like they're forced into a field goal situation. Crum stays on the field.
Yeah, the 2 15-yarders against Derek Moncrief, and now an illegal contact. There was the offside on CJ Rivas as well. But if Saskatchewan is going to make these kind of mistakes, Ottawa's got to make the most of them if they're going to make this a game.
Get another crack at it now from the 8 and a 1st and goal. To Williams, to the 5, 3, down to the 1. 2nd and goal coming up. Devontae Williams nearly got there. But you're right, for a Red Blacks team that's had trouble in these situations finishing things off, much like the games themselves. Have to figure they need the end zone in these next 2 plays.
Yeah, when a drive sees you gifted this many yards, you've got to make the opposition pay.
And Pigram does come on this time. And a 2nd and goal from the 1, the 11th play of this drive. Tyrell Pigram, the rookie, right side, touchdown, Red Blacks. And they do make Saskatchewan pay for the many penalties that helped them get down the field.
Well, Pigram, the short yardage specialist for the Red Blacks. Nice patience there. Not just trying to jam it up the middle, but working to the bubble to that soft spot in the defense. He goes in standing up.
And Michael Domagala, the new kicker for Ottawa. Lewis Ward hurt on that missed field goal return last week in BC and is done for the season. Domagala broke in with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, had a couple of seasons there. Product of Carleton University here in the nation's capital, puts it through to convert the Pigram touchdown that has made this a 7-7 game with under a minute to go in the first quarter. After an 11-play, 84-yard drive, it took 4:41 off the clock.
Just taking a look back at the last penalty in that drive. Watch the wide receiver, Tavon Smith, as he tries to come underneath. He gets knocked down on the play. That was the illegal contact call. A grab there as he tried to work back to the outside on the scramble. So that gives Ottawa a chance to continue the drive, which resulted in the Tyrell Pigram touchdown.
Took a lot of time off the clock. That was just their second possession of this game. We're going 2 and out in the first one, but 11-play drive. And yes, aided and abetted by all those penalties, including one to Jeremy Clark at the end that got them into a 1st and goal. Leone to kick it off. Mario Alford to take it inside the Rider 20. He gets taken down. Good coverage for the Red Blacks there, and Antti Milanovic-Litre with the tackle just outside the 30. Tune in for tomorrow's NCAA College Football Game of the Week between Texas and Baylor. Coverage beginning at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on TSN+. Dustin Crum, Kahari Jones there on the left, the offensive coordinator, looking things over after that successful touchdown drive. Back to Jake Dolagallo, hasn't thrown an incompletion yet. 6 for 6 on the ground. To Frankie Hickson, getting to start with the injury, the knee injury to Jamal Morrow, keeping him out this week. He gets it up to the 40, and it was about 8-9 yards on that carry, so a 2nd and short coming up.
Yeah, you got to love the way Frankie Hickson has started this ball game. A lot of jump in his step. 3 pretty good runs out of the gate here in the opening 15 minutes for the Riders running back.
Antonio Pipkin on for short yardage. He does finally step under center to be the last play of the opening quarter. He goes way right, sweeping around the right for a 1st down and more. A flag does come out as they get it up to the Rider 45. Get everybody in the box, and Pipkin takes it outside, pending this penalty.
Saskatchewan number 89. It's 10-yard penalty, remains 2nd down, and that is the quarter.
And so the penalty will put him back, and penalties have been a big part of the story for the green and white so far in this game. A game they started well. The drive down for a Schaefer-Baker touchdown, only to see Ottawa drive and answer back 7-7 through the first 15 on a Friday night in Ottawa. Set up by our producer Chris Edwards, and this guy here, old Western Mustang himself.
I mean, people know I went to Western. Where did you go to school again?
I had a couple of years at Queen's, and you know, I'm part of the loyal following, Queen's University, and they had it. They were so close. These two schools have met in a couple of Yates Cups, and we've had a little bragging rights thing. And
yes, another great battle between our alma maters.
You just had to pour it on, didn't you?
It was close. It was close, buddy.
And how about the call at the end? I don't know who called that one, but certainly, I mean, you know, really caught the flavor of it to anyone cheering for Queens in that one, that was that close. And all the Mustangs, so you come back and do it again. That was at Richardson last week in Kingston. So here we are in the 2nd quarter. Thank you for that, Dwayne.
Yes,
Chris.
and bigger picture. Yeah. Another great, exciting game in the world of Canadian university football. There is no shortage of those kind of contests.
Absolutely. 7-7 the score to start the 2nd quarter. Saskatchewan and Dolagallo. Michael Wakefield got a hold of him high. Looked like he got his face mask, and a flag does come out as Wakefield takes Dolagallo down, waiting for this call. Definitely had a hand up high.
You see Wakefield from his defensive tackle position. And just grasping as the quarterback starts to scramble, trying to get a piece of him. Unintentional.
Major foul, face mask. Ottawa number 96. 15-yard penalty, not an automatic 1st down.
So this time penalties going the Riders' way after so much of that first quarter went against them. They get a 1st down via the flag up to their 45.
Now Saskatchewan looking to see if they can take some advantage here.
Handing off to Hickson. Right side. Turns the corner. And Frankie Hickson is running hard. He gets that up just across midfield. And looks like a 1st down there for the Riders.
We've talked a number of times this year, Rod, about how good Ottawa's defense has been against the run. But Saskatchewan certainly taking advantage with Frankie Hickson in the backfield. The Roughriders off to a great start with their ground game here.
4 carries, 47 yards. And the longest of 18 for Frankie Hickson against Barron Miles. Ottawa defense, 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 54. 7-7 tie. Little play fake. And with time, deep ball. Dolegala. Deep and open. Touchdown, Samuel Emilus. He was waiting for it. 54 yards. Emilus with his 5th touchdown of the season.
Absolutely wide open. The monster season of Samuel Emilus continues. 1st round pick of the Rough Riders in 2022. He's just going down the rail here. We'll see. You can see Sherrod Baltimore's looking inside, got caught peeking into that backfield the whole way. There was a run fake there to Hickson, who's been so good, and perhaps already seeing the effect of that in the passing game as the Riders go over the top.
And the Lawther extra point is wide, so it stays at 13-7 on that miss. After a 5-play, 79-yard drive. Little play fake. Dolegala looking deep to a wide open Frankie Hickson.
On the deep shot, Emilus lined up out wide, bottom of the screen. And you can see, look at the head position on the DB. Sherrod Baltimore looking into the backfield all the way. Run fake there. He's sitting. Nobody else gets deep over the top to help him out. And Emilus trots into the end zone.
2nd touchdown pass for Dolegala, too, who now has 9 on the season. And the Riders back in front, this time by 6 after the missed extra point. But start number 5 for Dolegala. He finds Emilus again. Emilus with that 5th. And the kickoff, Tobias Harris takes it at the 10. So Red Blacks in a hole again. He is met there and goes no further. C.J. Rivas on special teams gets him at the Ottawa 40. It's Mason Fine to the right of Jake Dolegala. Fine had been ahead of him on the depth chart until he got hurt. Dolegala got his chance, and Fine, as Dwayne talked about, is healthy and ready to go again. Number 2 on the depth.
Trevor Harris, of course, the veteran starter for Saskatchewan, injured earlier in the season. And 2 young guys looking to make the most of this opportunity for some reps and develop in their own careers.
Here's Dustin Crum now, quickly to the left, completes it. And yards after the catch by Braylon Addison gets a 1st down. Ottawa up at the Red Black 52. A gain of 12 for the Red Blacks.
And what an asset Braylon Addison could prove to be for this team as he works his way back to health after a couple of injury-shortened seasons in Hamilton. Came over in free agency this year. Missed the first part of this season. The top 5 receiver in the league in 2019.
Devontae Williams, the running back. He has the ball. He breaks right. He breaks free. He has another 1st down inside the Riders zone, down to the Saskatchewan 45. So the Red Blacks quickly on the move with another big run by Devontae Williams.
And the last time we saw the Riders at home, it was a huge game for Devontae Williams against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Ottawa leaning heavily on their running back, and he's a guy who seems to really thrive with that workload run.
Really does. Had 17 carries for 146 yards in their last game here at TD Place against Hamilton, that game you alluded to. He put on a show, so did Tim White of the Ticats, do back and forth in that game. But another one that got away from the Red Blacks that could have won. They've said that all too often. Games that they could have or even should have won. And Jeremy Clark injured on the tackle for the Riders, their field corner.
Yeah, just you can see he had his head ducked down on contact there. Maybe followed up with a little friendly fire from a pursuing teammate.
They tend to injured corner Jeremy Clark. We'll take a break here. Friday Night Football at TD Place in his second year at Guelph, whose cousin Kenny Onyeka is playing for the Red Blacks. Little family reunion here tonight at TD Place. Kenny Onyeka, number 99, Ottawa defensive lineman. So,
yeah, Kosi, the fourth of the Onyeka siblings and cousins to play in the CFL, joining Knockus and Godfrey as well. Knockus, his brother.
Yeah, one of the Riders injured right now, and pressure coming from Albright, and this time he gets to Dustin Crum. Christian Albright inserted into the lineup because of some injuries. Anthony Lanier out, and he's getting his chance, and he gets a sack there.
Yeah, here you'll see Albright, bottom of your screen, left side of that defensive line, working against the #1 draft pick Dante Bull. Fights to get the blocker's hands off him into the backfield, and perhaps doing his best Anthony Lanier impression.
Well, it's a loss of 7 on that sack by Albright. His first year at Ball State. 2nd and 17 at the Saskatchewan 52 for Crum, the Red Blacks. And on this 2nd and long, he gets it again. Back-to-back sacks, and look who gets it. Back-to-back for Albright. 2 plays and 2 in the sack column for number 97. Really taking advantage of his chance to start here for the Riders.
Yes, sir. Big series there for Albright. As you said, coming from the other side this time. Top of your screen. Right side working against the left tackle, Dino Boyd. Just kept the legs driving.
And the most sacked quarterback in the Canadian Football League, Dustin Crum, has it happened twice in one series in back-to-back play. So that pushes Ottawa back to their 52.
After the play, there's 2 misconduct fouls, both 15 yards that will offset against number 1 Ottawa and number 16 Saskatchewan. It's 3rd down.
It'll be Shaq Evans and Amari Henderson with canceling misconduct penalties. Bottom line is, Richie Leone stands inside the Ottawa 40 when it looked like they had something on the move. Penalties driving, or sacks I should say, driving them back. Oh, some heat coming on Leone. Takes a bounce in front of Alford just around the 20.
I could use some back then right now. 98 Chevy with the tailgate down. FM on with the door up loud. Burning up the night.
Well, a punt at 38 is way below Leone's average, but you can see the pressure coming. He was fortunate to get it away. Have a look.
And fortunately, as you see, Rodney Clemens may have felt that breeze on his fingertips as Leone punted that ball. He fought his way in there, but the Red Blacks get a pretty good bounce as Leone was still able to get it close to the sideline and avoid a return from Mario Alford on the punt.
Richie Leone, longtime Red Black. The University of Houston, initially broke in with the BC Lions, but been a Red Black for several years, and as said, one of the best in the business for many years, but fortunate that one wasn't blocked by Rodney Clemens. So the ball goes back to the Roughriders now on a 1st and 10 from their 20, leading by 6.
Doesn't look quite right on the sidelines over there without his usual sidekick, Lewis Ward.
Isn't that the truth? Number 10, all the time they spend together, and Ward injured last week. BC Playson is done for the season with a pectoral muscle injury. Faking the handoff is Dola Gala and looks to the right and does complete it, up for a gain of about 4 yards to Kean Schaefer-Baker.
Yeah, Red Blacks sitting on that one, making a quick tackle. You see, good decision here. I believe it was Kenny Onyeka who came in and had a chance to hit Jake Dola Gala, but kind of held up on the play to avoid the roughing call where some might have followed through on it.
Sherrod Baltimore, the corner, coming in to tackle Schaefer-Baker. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6, Sask 24. Out to the right again, flag comes out, Frankie Hickson with it, and would have enough for a Rider 1st down as we wait and see what the fabric on the field is all about.
A free release from the backfield for Hickson on that one. Should it stand?
Offside, Ottawa number 99. Penalties decline. Result of the play is a first down.
Well, there you go. And Kenny Onyeka is the one that's flagged. We showed you his cousin Kosi on the other side a little bit earlier, but it is a first down right at the 30.
And believe it or not, Frankie Hickson's first reception of the season.
Said he just, I mean, he really, you noticed his name last year, but he just hasn't had the reps, the time this time. Taking advantage tonight. Oh, and Tevin Jones had that one drop in. Kind of tough as he got turned around a little bit, but a catchable football, and it's the first incompletion for Jake Dolegala.
Yeah, and you saw Jones tapping the chest, feeling he should have had that one. Did a pretty good job putting himself in position to make the catch, getting over top of the defender, adjusting and tracking the football, but just kind of losing it to the outside a little bit at the very end. Tough one for a guy who's having a great season. Came into this game as the Riders' leading receiver in terms of yardage, but he, Emelis, and Bain all very close.
Dolegala on second down, complete to Schaefer Baker, about the 35, and not enough, as the punting unit will come on after that gain of 6 for Schaefer Baker. Brandon Dandridge heads back for the return. Adam Corsack, the Australian kicker for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, had replaced Corey Vedvik, who has since moved on to the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
A lot of pre-snap motion there for Saskatchewan before the punt.
Corsack does get it away. Lower punt, takes a hop, and Dandridge picks it up. Off the bounce, breaks to the left, has some room, flag comes out. Midfield and more. Matt Dean can't catch him. Onyeka's trying as Dandridge finally gets tripped up by Kosi Onyeka after a huge return, but as mentioned, a flag did come out early. At the point where Dandridge got the ball, a 70-yard return for Brandon Dandridge.
And it looks like this one's going to come back. I think it was Marco Dubois who had a block right at the point of attack, right at the start of this return as Dandridge started to move to his left.
During the return, a legal block, Ottawa number 89. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down, Ottawa.
So they flagged Marco Dubois on that one. Dandridge broke free and had a big return, but right there, Ottawa ball, but further back in their zone.
Your screen. There's Marco Dubois matched up with his man. He's trying to fight to get in front, but he's on the back of that shoulder and just inches away, but the right call, but it brings Ottawa back a long way.
All the way back to their 15 for Crum. And it's incomplete. Shaq Evans, the ex-Rider, against his old team for the second time. And it's incomplete.
So penalties, a big story for both teams in the first half of this ball game. Marco Dubois, terrific special teamer. But one there where he's just not able to get his head around in front of the defender, and it proves costly.
Second down at the Ottawa 16. REDBLACKS midway through the second quarter, trailing by 6. More heat's coming, but Crum takes off. This time he gets away, and Pete Robertson does haul him down up around the 25, just shy of the first down. It looks like Saskatchewan caught him in time before the first down. Nope, they didn't. They did get the first. Just got across the 26.
On a big first down there for Crum, as he's granted that extra yard or so that he got in terms of forward progress. making the difference.
Robertson had put him down squarely on the 25, but you're right, he got a little bit further. They gave him that and a first down. And on that carry is Williams, knifing his way inside and trying to get up around the 30. Gain of about 4 yards. Dustin Crum. Yeah, the yards per carry. I mean, it was just like a storm when he first came on in relief of Jeremiah Masoli. Had 91 in that game and took off in subsequent games, Wayne, but still 7.2 yards a carry to lead the way in the CFL.
Yeah, he's been impressive when he's had the opportunity to escape, but certainly as his reputation has begun to precede him coming into games, the opportunities have become much fewer and further between.
2nd and 6 at the Ottawa 30. Throws, and a flag comes out. It is complete. That's caught by Justin Hardy, their leading receiver, and enough for a first down as we await what the flag is all about.
It's offside against Saskatchewan. 5-yard penalty against 94 is declined as the result of the play is a first down.
And Crum zipping this one across the middle. Justin Hardy has really become something of a fixture in that Ottawa receiving corps here in his 2nd CFL season.
From the Ottawa 42. That is complete. That's Hardy again up across midfield. Another Ottawa first down. Quickly on the move here in this first half. Under 6 minutes to go.
Hardy, the former East Carolina star, a guy who was the NCAA's career receptions leader when he graduated.
Williams' ball comes out. Red Blacks have it, but lost yardage. It's Hardy alertly picking it up after it got punched out of Devontae Williams, but back inside the Red Black zone, and a loss of about 3 or 4.
On the right side of your screen is the defensive end. Albright, watch him tracking back to the ball, punches it out on the tackle. Red Blacks dodge a bullet as Hardy's able to get back to that one.
Jay Albright certainly making his presence known. A couple of sacks in the previous possession of Dustin Crum, forcing a fumble there, but Ottawa does recover. 4-man rush with time. He does complete it. We get a lot of the yardage back to Williams as he gets it down to about the 46, but a third down is coming up for the Red Blacks, and Richie Leone is coming on to punt it.
Yeah, tight game, playing for field position. Here's certainly an opportunity with Leone's leg to try to pin Saskatchewan deep on this one.
On the third down. It's a little too deep for Leone's liking as Alford takes it in the end zone and quickly takes a knee to give up the one. They get a 5-point game on that single point on the punt by Leone. Jake Dolegala, as said, seems to be improving with each start. Let's get more now from Claire.
Yeah, Rod, and Craig Dickinson said his first impressions of the quarterback were that he just had this veteran presence. The way he moved, he had so much confidence. He had this wise demeanor. And I asked Jake Dolegala where he got that from so early in the CFL. And he said, well, when I trained in the offseason, I was in Buffalo and I worked with 2 receivers, Luke Tasker and Naaman Roosevelt. Naaman, of course, used to be a Rider. He's now their offensive assistant. And he had to work with their waggle. They demanded that he throw routes with the waggle. So that got him familiar with the CFL. And Naaman Roosevelt said the first thing I noticed was his strong arm and just how the ball whistled when I caught it.
It's a great story and getting him ready for the CFL. And Naaman Roosevelt, we remember his days, some good years with the Roughriders. And Luke Tasker was a great receiver with Hamilton and now works as a broadcaster with the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, absolutely. Dolegala comes from St. Francis High School in Buffalo, not far across the border. A number of Canadians have actually gone and played football over there, but the same school that Luke Tasker went to.
2nd and 6 now from the Rider 44, Dolegala. And that one a little in behind Sean Bain, who cannot hang on. And a flag comes out late after the whistle. A flag coming out back in the Rider backfield. You see Lorenzo Malden just sitting down right now. They sort this out, but penalties have been a big part of the story so far in this first half.
Well, Malden took a pretty good dive as he was on the receiving end of a shove from Council at the end of the play. And you'll see these guys
after the play.
battle.
There's 2 misconduct fouls against 61 Saskatchewan and 94 Ottawa. It's third down.
Far right of your screen, the battle kind of continued on beyond the whistle. And it looked like Malden stepped in with a little bit of a headbutt there. Council responded with the shove.
And again, coincidental misconduct fouls, so no change in yardage or down. It's third down. Saskatchewan up to the line now for Korsak to punt it away. Booming punt. What a punt by Korsak, down around the 5. Beautifully placed, a 62-yarder for Dandridge, who's breaking free again. And we don't see a flag this time as Korsak is the one that has to take him down, Brandon Dandridge, after a brilliant punt. An equally brilliant return. 38 yards for Dandridge to get it up near midfield. Ottawa will scrimmage from their 50-yard line. Took it back at the 5. Found an opening. Brandon Dandridge, dangerous returner. And it's the punter himself.
And the Riders, D. But you know what? No one really wants to hear from us anyways. They want to hear from the Rod Father.
Yes. Yes. Wow. That picture certainly moved around quickly, didn't it? Nice T-shirt that one of our producers, this curling and hockey Kevin Pratt, gave me. Nice. Paid the panel at the half, and there's Shaq Evans. Catch against his old team, and picks up the first down too as the Riders late in this first half try to get some more points on the board.
Yeah, just a crossing route, try and lose defenders in traffic to free up Shaq Evans. Works pretty well for the Red Blacks on that one as they pick up that first down yardage and into Saskatchewan territory.
13-8 Saskatchewan. 2:23 on the clock. Setting up a screen to Devontae Williams. A flag comes out. First down and more. Inside the 30, 25 and pushed out. Not until he gets down close to the 20 is Devontae Williams. But a question we've had to ask several times tonight, is it coming back?
Holding. Ottawa number 61. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It is coming back. Drew Desjardins, the left guard, flag for the hold. Negating that play there by Williams.
Well, keep an eye on Desjardins from that left guard spot. See if we can pick up the penalty here. It's that extra little snatch at the end. And you'll often see on screen passes where it's a play where you're trying to get the defensive line's momentum upfield. And every now and then, yeah, the offensive line will do things to help that momentum a little bit. And that time, Desjardins.
You're saying instead of trying to hold him back, try to get him in a little.
Try to help him up, yeah.
First and 20 after the holding call at the Ottawa 50. 2:12 on the clock. Micah Johnson's moving in, and so too is Cody Roscoe. Another one of the newcomers that changes to that defensive front. So he got Albright with a couple of sacks, and Roscoe in because of the injuries. Miles Brown, another D lineman that's out and hurt, and he gets in on the act.
There you see Roscoe, usually an end. He bumps inside. Micah Johnson flips outside. They work the twist. If one doesn't get you, the other one will. Ultimately, Roscoe is the one putting down the Red Blacks QB.
And a loss of 12 yards, Dwayne, so give the sack to Roscoe there. And a second and 32. The Red Blacks going backwards now. Off to Jalen Ackland. Tries to get by Amari Henderson. He gets up to midfield on that second and extremely long as the punting unit will come on. 1:40 on the clock as Leone, last time it went all the way for a punt single. Going to try to pin the Rough Riders deep in their own zone. Prevent them from adding any more points before halftime.
And a couple things standing out as we see Ottawa about to punt the football here. Number one, obviously the penalty that brought the screen back but also great effort to make the tackle on the Saskatchewan punt by Adam Korsak, because it looked like Brandon Dandridge was going the distance.
After a punt of 44 yards, Alford takes it, and he doesn't get much further than the 10. Tanner Dahl, the long snapper, coming in for the big tackle there for the Red Blacks. From the creator of Letterkenny, don't miss new episodes of hilarious and hard-hitting comedy sensation Shoresy. Stream now, only on Crave.
Every team should have a Shoresy.
There you go. That toothy grin. Veteran Tanner Dahl, previously the Red Blacks, BC Lions too, and after the long snap coming down and making that big tackle. So they have it at the 13, 1st and 10, minute and a half. That one is caught. Breaking free after the catch as well is Tevin Jones, who gets a couple of extra yards. 2nd down coming up for the Riders.
And then Dolegala getting rid of that just in time as there is a free blitzer coming off the backside.
In the 19, 2nd and 4. Dolegala to the left. It is caught. And reaching there is Emelis. And a great play by Samuel Emelis, who just reaches and looks like he has the 1st down for Saskatchewan.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we watch Samuel Emelis continue to shine, and credit to the Saskatchewan Roughriders scouting staff for their work in picking receivers and ignoring the scouting bureau rankings, as Emelis was a guy who dropped out of the top 20 before they picked him in the 1st round.
Reached for that 1st down, so now it's Tevin Jones. And shy of the 30, so about 4 yards there for the Rider receiver.
Well, in his 2nd year, he's put himself on pace for a 1,000-yard season here. The first rankings that come out in September, he was ranked number 11. Dropped out of the top 20 in the next 2 sets of rankings.
Frankie Hickson, 2nd down, gets the 1st down. And gets knocked down, Sherrod Baltimore there, but he gets it across the 35, close to the 40, and the sticks move again. 42 seconds on the clock.
Well, Dolegala doing a nice job keeping things moving here. Hickson's 1st half continues, and again, that success on the ground can pay big dividends later in the game.
Up to the 39. Intercepted! Stumbled a bit, thinking of taking it to the house, but he gets it close. Inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal for the Red Blacks with a chance to take the lead before halftime. A 42-yard return after that interception, his 1st this season. DeAndre Lamont.
You'll see Lamont from his halfback spot drop back, but he's baiting, he's watching the entire way. Sees exactly what the patterns are developing in front of him, hangs back and then jumps in front to make the pick. Great grab here. The rookie DB Lamont.
And it was Jareth Stearns who saved a touchdown. The Rider receiver coming back and tackling Lamont. Inside the 10, it's down to the 6, so suddenly it's the Red Blacks with a chance before halftime. 28 seconds on the clock and a 1st and goal. A look into the end zone. An open receiver. Touchdown. Braylon Addison. And in 2 quick plays, just like that, the Red Blacks have the lead.
Sudden change. Quick strike there for the Red Blacks. Long throw for not a lot of yardage here. Inside the 10-yard line, but thrown deep to the corner on that far side. Perfectly placed ball. You see Braylon Addison working out of the slot here. You can see he's going to stem to the inside. Defender's got to protect the inside hard, as Henderson does. Break back to the corner. Nice timing, nice placement, great route from Addison. as the Red Blacks vault into the lead.
And Braylon Addison gets his first touchdown as a member of the Ottawa REDBLACKS. He had to start the season on the 6-game injured list. Took a while for him to make his debut after those years in Hamilton. And they will now go for 2 with a 1-point lead, trying to make it a 3. What a turn of events, as you're thinking the Riders might be able to drive down and add to their lead. The interception by DeAndre Lamont, taking it all the way down to a 1st and goal, and then the Red Blacks cash in. Dustin Crum to Braylon Addison. Up by 1, trying to move ahead by a field goal on this 2-point try. Blitz coming, gets rid of it. It's caught, and it's 2 points. Justin Hardy got it just across the goal line. And with 22 seconds to go until halftime, the Red Blacks move ahead by 3.
And from the slot, push inside, bounce it back out. Crum standing in long enough to allow that route to develop. Takes a hit in the process. Remember, the ball just has to be across the field side edge of that goal line in terms of breaking the plane. And it is.
Close, but just barely. Does get it in front of the front part of that line, as you talked about. So Hardy with the 2 points. Addison with the touchdown. And Ottawa 16-13 now for the Red Blacks, with 22 seconds to go until halftime. Abdul Kenna.
Yeah, the guy who's usually in that field halfback spot, occupied tonight by Lamont. No doubt happy to see the young guy making a big play.
Don't give up a point, Soup!
And Jake Dolegala, who's made only one mistake in this game, had been perfect for a while. And that one mistake proves costly, as Ottawa does cash in. Thomas Bertrand-Houdon, the rookie running back on special teams for Saskatchewan on return. This was the interception by DeAndre Lamont.
The play that set things up, Lamont with the theft. Stearns with the tackle that forces the Red Blacks to go another play. And throw to that deep corner. Crum to Addison. Hardy had the 2-point convert.
And as you pointed out, because of the injury to Abdul Kenna, who was talking to him on the sidelines, the field corner. So the pressure's on, and the ball came out. And they're still fighting for it.
The ball was just sitting there forever.
They must have thought the whistle had gone or the play was dead. That ball was just sitting there without a whistle. Ottawa football.
And within field goal range with 5 seconds left.
This is incredible that the Red Blacks would get a couple of cracks at scoring so late in this half.
Well, watch when this ball pops out. I think it was Malden that had the strip. And it looked like particularly the Riders' O-line just happened to all be facing the other way. So they were late to react to that ball being on the field.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
The other question, I guess, would be, was his arm moving forward at all when that ball came out? They will review, but it's the makings of a disastrous final minute for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who had the lead all first half, most of it.
We'll take a look. Watch Malden coming from the top left corner of your screen. Is the arm going forward yet? And I don't think it was. I think his arm goes forward, but I think the ball is out by then.
Lorenzo Malden coming in, and he's the one that forces it. But yeah, it looks like the ball does come out.
Yeah, as he was just about to get the arm going forward. So the arm goes forward after the ball was knocked out.
Let's go!
So here's the ruling from the command center.
After review by command center, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Ottawa.
So another turnover in the final minute by Saskatchewan.
You can't deny the inevitable. Let's go. I'm him.
Malden fired up. Michael Domagala out to try his first field goal now. Down and through. Domagala gets it and makes it a 19-13 game. 11 points in the last 22 seconds for the Ottawa REDBLACKS after 2 turnovers. And the onslaught late in the half started with this. DeAndre Lamont, with the REDBLACKS trailing, has the interception, gets it down inside the 10. They get the touchdown, and here is Lamont now at the half with Claire. It for the REDBLACKS until a couple of turnovers late in the half in the final minute, leading to an Ottawa touchdown and then a field goal, and the REDBLACKS have the 19-13 lead. But Saskatchewan gets the ball to start the second half. It's Mario Alford with it as he crosses the 30, gets ahead of steam. And he cuts it outside again, and Kenny Onyeka is the one to take him down at the Saskatchewan 43. One of the positives for the offense in that first half for Saskatchewan had to be Frankie Hickson getting the start tonight.
Yeah, and we so often in the Canadian Football League talk about dividing the season into thirds. And basically, once you get through the first third, you're going to have injuries. You're going to have changes to your roster. And depth is one of those things that determines which teams ultimately succeed. You just heard from Christian Albright coming in on defense, making an impact, so there's not a big drop-off without a guy like Anthony Lanier. Now without Morrow, Hickson doing a great job for them on offense. That gap shining for Saskatchewan.
After the fake to Hickson, it's dumped off to Jareth Stearns, gets the catch and gets it up near a first down for the Rough Rider receiver. But yeah, Frankie Hickson, over 500 yards rushing last year. Jamal Morrow had missed a lot of time with injury and getting his chance tonight because of the knee injury to Morrow. 6 carries, 61 yards, and that offense, led by Jake Dolegala, had moved the ball well in the first half, but those 2 turnovers late really swung this game in Ottawa's favor. 19-13 to start the second half. It's a second and short coming up now. Antonio Pipkin in the game for the short yardage, and he pushes. He just needed inches. Looks like he has it, although Douglas Coleman's trying to tug him back. 6-point difference right now, Ottawa. The question they ask around here is, can they hang on to that lead? That's been a real problem for the REDBLACKS.
Yeah, competing has not been an issue for Ottawa whatsoever, remaining competitive. But it's finishing, getting the wins, coming out on the right side of those close games. There's a difference between them being in the playoff picture and being on the outside looking in as they are right now.
During that 7-game losing streak, there's been 4 or 5 games that they could claim they had a great shot at winning near the end, and they lost them all. And that one on first down, and that's Kean Schaefer-Baker at a touchdown earlier in this game. Bob Dyson, well, frustrating, as I said, he has felt the heat, but you look at here, I know Milt Stiegel's not going to like this board, because Milt's question is, did you win? That's all you need, right? But it has been so close, and you look at those 10 losses and the average margin of the game of the loss.
Yeah, they have battled. The play of Dustin Crum has been a big factor in them being competitive. So too is their defense with the takeaways.
Dolegala gets away from the pressure. And that's 6'7" frame taking off on the run and gets another Rider first down in the Ottawa zone.
Yeah, and we talked to Jake Dolegala about this a little bit during the week. He physically does not at 6'7" fit the traditional prototype of a CFL quarterback. And it's almost like the reverse of what held smaller mobile quarterbacks back in the NFL for so long, as people just didn't give them a chance. Dolegala, you see, has some mobility. He can run. It's just not the #1 thing in his game, but don't judge him because of his size.
Back to the ground there after Dolegala picked up the first down running. Hickson has nowhere to go. Brick wall there for the REDBLACKS, who, as mentioned earlier, have been very good by and large against the run this season, leading the way in the CFL in that category. The problem has been the pass defense, which has been lagging behind and last. Michael Wakefield up there on Hickson, a loss of 2 yards. Second and long coming up now. his balance. Dolegala running out of the pocket, but he can't get free and just gets a yard, and it's a third down coming up here for the Riders.
And you can see sort of with the desperation with which Dolegala lunged forward as he got tripped up here, that he could see there was all sorts of green in terms of open turf in front of him here to take off with this football, but just unable to keep his footing.
And looks like the center, Peter Godber, is the injured Rough Rider back at midfield. He'd missed a few games earlier this season with injuries. They pay attention to his right leg. They have Evan Johnson as the backup old lineman tonight. Godber still down. Since that last loss to the Lions, that's coming up. Peter Godber getting attention on the sideline, and a third down coming up here for Saskatchewan, trailing by 6. Adam Korsak into punt it. His last one was over 60 yards, but there was a big return too for Brandon Dandridge, who's back there with Tobias Harris to return this. Back around their 5. Deep and into the end zone. Dandridge, after a punt of 55, he takes a knee and concedes the single point that makes it a 19-14 game. How about the end of that first half for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, Wayne?
As you heard the panel talk about, they were all set to talk about all the positives for Saskatchewan offensively in the first half. But the tide turned right at the end. Started with that Lamont interception, followed by the Addison touchdown. Fumble recovery just after that on the Malden forced fumble that set up a Michael Dolegala field goal. Sent Ottawa in with that 6-point lead, just narrowed to 5 by the Adam Korsak punt single.
Lorenzo Malden. Sack numbers don't compare to last year, but still been quite a force on that defensive line. Lots of hurries and forcing a fumble. Wayne talked about led to the field goal. And a 19-14 lead now with that single point and the Korsak punt. So the ball comes out to the 40. There's Dustin Crum, and the REDBLACKS get ready now. Starting the second half with a lead. And a big opening there for Devontae Williams. Finally taken down inside the Rider 40 as Williams breaks free. He had 24 yards rushing in the first half. He had 30 on that carry.
And this parted like the Red Sea for Williams. Great job right at the line of scrimmage. Ottawa to open that up. Williams hits it with absolutely no hesitation.
To the Rider 40 now. Faking to Williams. Oh, and had an open receiver in Shaq Evans, and he couldn't hang on. A bit low, but still could have had it. And then Derek Moncrief comes in and pops him after that. So 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, Justin Hardy from the slot, quick slant, gets that inside position. You see all the space he's got.
Excuse me, Justin Hardy. Thank you, Dwayne, not Shaq Evans.
Yeah, he just misjudged that ball coming in. Couldn't make the grab.
So Hardy with the drop. 2nd and 10 REDBLACKS now at the Rider 40, leading it by 5. Third quarter, TD Place. Back to Williams. Dances around, and it's 3 or 4 more. A third down coming up. Michael Dolegala will try for his 2nd field goal. He's 1 for 1. Got that one at the end of the first half. Dolegala went to university here, went to Carleton, and entered the CFL with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Few seasons there as both kicker and then after that punter. And trying this one from about 43 away. The other was a 42. This one is heading wide to his right. Alford takes it out of the end zone. He finds an opening, and here we go, Mario Alford. He gets tripped up and he lands at the Rider 45. The field goal is missed. The return is long by Alford. Riders with the ball, trailing by 5. Actually, on a punt return or a missed field goal, look what he can do. His combined return yards, ranking second in those categories, and he broke a big one to put the Riders in much better shape now, Dwayne.
Yeah, and we talked earlier in this game about the decision last week by Ottawa to go for a field goal, long field goal late, as opposed to punting. Yeah, a punt can be returned, as I said, but the difference in the threat of the two is who's covering. You saw some big bodies not able to change directions very well with Alford there.
Quickly off to Emelis, and he can't hang on, so falling incomplete, 2nd and 10. And that attempt by Domagala, he'd had a 42 at the end of the first half, was a 43. The argument in Vancouver last week being they were up by 10 with under 2 minutes to go, and it was a 50-yard try, and they can be tricky covering and on the misses. That was a Lewis Ward try, and that turned out to be his last play of the season as he got injured and knocked out the rest of the way. Domagala, that one was high as he's hit and got it away, looking for Schaefer Baker. The coverage there, hit goes incomplete, and a 2-and-out for Saskatchewan.
Well, Bryce Carter came in tonight leading the Ottawa REDBLACKS in sacks. It's again proven to be a nuisance to quarterback Jake Domagala.
He's had quite a season. Said defending the run and as the sack leader in the REDBLACKS. Korsak in to punt it away. After a punt of 46, taken by Dandridge. Gets it up to about the 34. On a beautiful early autumn night in Ottawa, Friday Night Football. Red Albright, and is he ever making the most of his opportunity, Dwayne?
Yeah, he certainly is. 2 sacks in the first half. A forced fumble in there as well. Been a monster for Saskatchewan thus far. They need more of the same from the Ball State product.
Cody Roscoe also in with injuries to Miles Brown and Anthony Lanier, not able to play in this one tonight. 1st and 10, Ottawa at their own 33, leading by 5. Devontae Williams, hey, busted loose the previous possession by the REDBLACKS with a 30-yard gain, and that's enough to pick up another Ottawa first down.
Yeah, we talk about it primarily with quarterbacks, about how the game slows down for guys after their first year. They come back for a second training camp, second season, and there are just less adjustments. They understand the league and so on. I think that's what we're really seeing with Devontae Williams. To me, he looks like a different player this year than he was last year.
Up to the REDBLACK 44 now, quickly. And off to the side for Addison, who spun around and did break free to pick up a couple of yards when it looked like he might have been taken down for a loss. Give him 2 and a 2nd and 8 coming up.
Yeah, a couple nice moves there for Braylon Addison. He's lined up as the inside receiver here for the REDBLACKS. And he's another guy coming back from injury. Some nifty moves, not a lot of yardage to show for it, but a guy who I think you're still really beginning to see the old Braylon Addison as he regains his health.
Got his first Ottawa touchdown in the first half right at the end after the interception by DeAndre Lamont. First down, Saskatchewan 45 and across. Quickly on the move, Jalen Acklin on the receiving end.
Yeah, 3 receiver combination out to the right side with Acklin along with, you see Hardy clearing out, pushing deep. Braylon Addison was out wide, getting a hold on the corner, keeping him out of the picture to create space for Acklin to make the grab.
Gain of 20. Acklin with 4 catches, 57 yards now for Ottawa. 1st and 10 at the Rider 44. Past the halfway point of the 3rd quarter. And that's complete too. Acklin again. And Jeremy Clark was hanging on, waiting for some help as Ackland does get it down to the Rider 35.
Yeah, good escape move from Ackland, but Clark did a good job to recover. It looked initially like he was going to be beaten to the outside, but just grabbing some cloth and hanging on to not let the receiver get away.
And enough to bring the short yardage team on a second down and less than a yard as Tyrell Pigram comes in. Ackland heading off to the sideline. There's Jeremy Clark, who was injured in the first half. Good to see back out on a second and short play here for Pigram. Right side, first down. A.J. Allen has him wrapped up, but the drive continues for Crum and the Red Blacks as he heads back on the field.
And for Ottawa, their offensive coordinator, Kahari Jones, doing a nice job himself mixing up run and pass here this evening.
Yeah, this is a more impressive drive so far. Their first touchdown drive was helped out quite a bit by Saskatchewan penalties, moving them down the field. They're at the Rider 32 now. Williams again. He breaks free again, and he gets it down inside the Rider 25. So another second and short will be coming up here for Ottawa.
See that cross action in the backfield with Gosselin, the fullback, taking on the defensive end.
Those happy feet give him a gain of 8, second and 2 now. 10 carries, 77 yards. That 30-yarder coming earlier in this quarter. Pressure's coming. The fake gets rid of it, and Ackland is hit right away by Clark coming in. Jumping right in and making sure nothing is there for Ackland as the field goal unit will come on.
Yeah, Ackland out wide on this one was the intended receiver. He's curling in a little bit. That ball, saw the flight of that one impacted a little bit, not reaching its mark.
This will be the same distance as an extra point. 32 yards for Michael Domagala. First game as an Ottawa Red Black, and he goes 2 for 3 on the night in the field goal department with that one. 3 more on the board for the Red Blaze.
Yeah, I always think that when parents name their kids things like serenity and patience, that it's wishful thinking.
First and 10. And that one is dropped, intended there for Mario Alford, a rare offensive play for Alford, the return specialist. Yeah, not chilling after that big defensive play and forcing the fumble. All fired up there, but a great young family. See, looks like members of the Ruby family were there as well. Father Jacob got early movement at right tackle. Brandon Council and some finger pointing there. The flag comes
Procedure,
out.
Saskatchewan number 61. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
I think Erica's as intense up there watching the game as Lorenzo is down on the field.
And liking that too as they get pushed further back. The Riders now
Saskatchewan number 61. 5-yard penalty.
Now trailing it by 8 after that Domagala field goal, and now 5 yards further back for a second and 15 now at their own 35. Crowd picking up. Domagala, and a beautiful catch going up high to get it as Jarrett Stearns up near midfield. Did he ever climb the ladder?
Yeah, fantastic catch from Stearns. Domagala under pressure delivers it. Stearns climbs the ladder.
Kenny Lawler like. See him do that a lot.
Yeah, that's one for the highlight reel, no doubt.
Sure is. Gain of 19-2 for the Riders up near midfield now. Domagala, deep look. picks up in where he expected a receiver to be. That falls incomplete. The second down coming up. Have another look at this catch.
5'9", Jareth Stearns goes up and gets it.
The next pass, no rider receiver around. 2nd and 10. Just shy of midfield. Some noise coming here at TD Place now, and a big second down. Dalagala off a defender and deflected, and lucky for the Riders, not intercepted as it falls down. Closest to it after the deflection is the safety Justin Howell. 3rd down.
It was Sherrod Baltimore, the corner, stepping in with the deflection.
Howell had no shot. There's Erica cheering on that defense, especially, I'm sure, but not that Howell had any shot at that, of course. Had it been deflected a little bit higher, who knows, but good defensive play by the Red Blacks, nursing that 8-point lead as the 4th quarter gets closer. And there's Adam Korsak to punt it away again for Saskatchewan from his 45. Tobias Harris takes it inside the 20. Flag comes out. 37-yard punt. A short return, but mentioned a flag coming out, usually meaning short, no yards in that situation.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 28. 15-yard penalty. 1st down, Ottawa.
DB Tremaine Washington in punt coverage there, encroaching the 5-yard halo.
And a 15-yard penalty, so out to the 30 for the Red Blacks. As the 4th quarter looms, a 4th quarter that wasn't kind to either of these teams last week. Collectively, these two in the 4th quarter last week were shut out 39-0. Edmonton had 16 unanswered in the 4th against Saskatchewan, 23 unanswered by BC against the Red Blacks from the Ottawa 30. Just trying to dump it off to Anthony Gosselin. This falls incomplete, and the flag is out.
Holding. Ottawa number 61. 10-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Well, as Dustin Crum started to scramble, I thought, and apparently Anthony Gosselin thought as well, quarterback was going to keep the ball and take off. Gosselin turns to try and block somebody just as Crum looked to shovel the ball to him.
Fullbacks conditioned to block,
exactly.
Not catch passes, right?
It's generally how the fullback's hands are best used.
Well, not Dwayne Ford's in his great CFL career. You caught a few, didn't you?
I knew my limitations.
1st and 20 now, off the hold. And running. And why not? The way Devontae Williams is on that 1st down to get a lot of the yardage back. More than 10 of it.
Williams with a quick lateral step to avoid a collision with Larry Dean. That allows him to pick up a couple of extra yards.
So from 1st and 20 to a 2nd and 10 now. Just got a little bit more than the 10 yards. Just up across the Red Black 30. Passing down, 4-man rush, right side, open receiver, complete to Hardy. Ball comes out after the catch, and the Riders have it. Saskatchewan football on the fumble after the catch by Hardy. And there's a break the Riders are looking for.
Well, C.J. Rivas, the man who ends up with the ball. Hardy, the trail receiver here initially. We're going to see how Crum drops this ball in between levels of defenders. And the ball clearly out there. Rivas with the forced fumble and the recovery. Ball is clearly out before Hardy was down. Big defensive play for Saskatchewan.
Well, the Red Blacks quickly at the end of the half at 11 points off turnovers. See what the Riders can do off this one. Dolegala. And for Sean Bain, and nowhere to go. He is greeted immediately by the safety, Justin Howell. And at the end of the third quarter, the Riders lose yardage there and get pushed back closer to midfield. Fourth quarter, each team hoping for something better in the final 15 this time around. We'll be back. When they've been through this too, they lived at last, or 8-point lead. What did I say?
You said 18.
18. Would 18 be enough for them? I mean, so anyway, 8-point lead, excuse me, for Ottawa. But that's the thing I'm sure fans are even thinking about now. Can Ottawa hang on finally and win a game when they have the lead going into the final quarter?
And this is it. And you hope that the adversity that they have been through a number of times, probably more than they would like to this point this season, as we see the late turnover, the fumble by Justin Hardy, recovered by C.J. Rivas. But you hope that those have been learning experiences, that they kind of figure out how to protect that lead and close this one out. Not a situation quite yet, I would say, at a one-score game with 15 to go, where you're just looking to shut things down and protect that lead. But
now I'm saying that they would have felt more comfortable with an 18-point lead. It was a 19-point lead in BC Place last week, and we've seen this Rider offense, which can strike quickly.
Saskatchewan number 53. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
Penalty to Philip Blake to start this fourth quarter. But as mentioned, both of these teams, I mean, the Riders too, you know, and they're a game below 500 now, losing twice in a row after their big victory over Winnipeg on Labor Day. Not needing a win certainly as badly as Ottawa is, but nonetheless trying to maintain a strong hold in a playoff spot in the West for Dolegala. 2nd and 17. And losing the football again. And Ottawa, Cleon Lang has it, as they, for the second time in this game, strip it away while he's trying to throw it. And on that fumble, the Red Blacks take over in Saskatchewan zone at the 47.
And take a look at Lang, who lines up on the edge this time as Dolegala looks to step up. It's actually Bryce Carter coming from the back, who gets the ball as Dolegala sort of had it cocked, getting ready to throw. Look at how he sinks the ball down low as he's getting ready to throw. Bryce Carter picks his pocket. Cleon Lang comes up with it.
The Rider 47, 1st and 10 for Crum and the Red Blacks now. Moncrief showing blitz. He's coming. And on the run, it is Williams. It's it down inside the 45.
And Larry Dean from the other side of the line of scrimmage does a terrific job just mirroring the Red Blacks running back on that one. We'll take another look at Bryce Carter on the strip. See how the ball is down low? And Carter batting at it. Dolegala basically trying to pull it away as he's trying to step up in the pocket. But Carter was just like a dog on a bone on that one.
Red Blacks have done well when it comes to points off turnovers, and would love to add to that total and increase their 8-point lead. Rolling out his Crum. And he completes that one down inside the 35. And that's Siossi Mariner with his first catch in a while. First one of the night, and he was just activated back into the lineup with an injury to Nate Bahar.
And Crum on the scramble moves to his right. You'll see Mariner coming back down along the sideline away from his defender. He had been on a vertical route further up the field, getting in position for his quarterback.
Played a lot earlier this season. Activated again tonight. His first catch, first down, right back to him. Mariner breaks free inside the 20, 10-5. Touchdown, Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Well, Siossi Mariner, first catch of the game keeps the drive alive. Second catch extends the lead for Ottawa. The quick hitter. Keep an eye here if you can on the right tackle, Dante Bull. as he gets up to second level. Quick flash and go. And there's the big fella getting ready to block. Sit down. Mariner off to the races.
4 plays, 47 yards. And that's off another turnover. And with the point after, the Red Blacks have scored 18 points off turnovers on the night. Back-to-back catches for Saskatchewan Mariner to get into the game. And on the second, he gets into the end zone.
Here, Dustin Crum delivers it to Saskatchewan Mariner, gets a couple nice blocks along the way from his fellow receivers and, of course, his offensive line, allowing the Ottawa REDBLACKS to extend their lead to 15 here in the fourth quarter.
He came into this game with 11 catches for 117 yards in the season, as long as 20. He had back-to-back catches, and that touchdown went for 34. And it's given the Red Blacks now a 29-14 lead, fourth quarter. Mario Alford, always dangerous returner. But Alonzo Adai comes in and gets him knocked down shy of the Saskatchewan 40. So Jake Dolegala has been stripped of the football a couple of times through an interception as well. And Saskatchewan is in a 15-point hole right now.
And think back to the start of this game when we looked at Jake Dolegala's stats thus far in the season, even particularly as a starter. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception as a starter, doing a good job taking care of the football. But the Red Blacks D has gotten to him tonight a little bit.
Quickly working to Tevin Jones up to the Rider 45. He's pushed back, and whistle already gone long before that ball popped out. Second down and 3. Frankie Hickson running. Gets the first down and gets it up across the 50 towards midfield. Clock ticking under 12 minutes now in the fourth quarter. Hickson getting his first start of this 2023 season with the injury to Jamal Mora. Swinging it out to Hickson. Taken down right around the 50. DeAndre Lamont, the first one in to stall him. He's the one who had that big interception in the final minute of the first half to set up the Red Blacks go-ahead points. Adam O'Clair starting in the middle with an injury to Javon Santos Knox on that defense. It's a second down and 10 at the Rider 50. Call it second and 11. Just inches back, actually. With time. And it's complete, and it comes out, and it's Ottawa football again. Tevin Jones caught it, took a pop, up went the ball, and into the hands of Brandon Dandridge, and another turnover committed by the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, terrific throw and catch. Dolegala to Jones, and it looked like Jones had made a nice move to avoid big contact. He's the one receiver here. You're going to see him work on that slant towards the middle. As he gets over the top, throw is on the mark, looks to dodge the hit and avoids direct contact. But in getting his body out of harm's way, couldn't quite get the ball out of the way. Justin Howell pops it free. Brandon Dandridge comes up with it.
You saw the turnover story looming large in this game now. Saskatchewan has turned it over 4 times. Ottawa just 1. And in the hands of Devontae Williams, grinding it through up across the 45.
Yeah, strike here. Dolegala to Jones, but Howell.
Justin Howell, another one who played his university ball here with the Carleton Ravens. with a great hit to force the turnover. Ottawa ball on a 2nd and 2. The fake, and Crum keeps it. He had to get right to the 50 to get the first down. Signaling a first for the Red Black offense.
Yeah, the way things unfolded in the backfield, it looked a little bit like an option type play where Crum was deciding between handing it off to the back or keeping it himself. Looked a little bit like he kept it and then second guessed the decision. So ends up just following the back up into the hole to get what he could.
1st and 10 at the Ottawa 50 now. As they go back to Devontae Williams, who works it up closer to midfield as the clock continues to tick. And the Red Blacks right now with a 15-point lead.
I suspect Devontae Williams and Larry Dean will be on a first-name basis by the end of this one, as they've seen a lot of each other through this ball game.
Up after this game, the Edmonton Elks, their season not over yet, hosting the BC Lions, who are trying to tie Winnipeg in the standings in the West. Part 2 of the doubleheader on a Friday night. And back to work to Braylon Addison. There was a touchdown earlier in this game, late in the first half, complete there from Crum. First down, Ottawa.
Yeah, big hit in traffic. Addison hanging on. Saskatchewan defense right there. Pete Robertson, the end, dropped in coverage here. He lowers the boom. Addison shaking it off for another Ottawa first down.
Down to 8 minutes in the 4th quarter. In Rider territory, the 47. Williams, busy night continues. They're trying to find some room, and he does. Devontae Williams goes over 100 yards with that carry on the night, and those final few yards are as impressive as any others, as he found a way to pick up a little bit more when it looked like he was done.
Yeah, this is all Devontae Williams' 2nd, 3rd, 4th effort. It looked like he was in trouble multiple times, but fighting off contact, keeping his balance. Still on his feet at the end of that run with a pickup of about 7.
15 carries, 109. To the Saskatchewan 40. And looking for yet more points off a turnover. As mentioned earlier, they have 18 points off turnover so far. Williams after contact, and he works his way down to another first down to about the 35 of Saskatchewan. Injured Red Blacks player on the field. We'll take a break and be back after this.
Anytime we do that, it's a good thing. Schultz always did such great work for the tackle hunger cause.
On a 1st and 10, Red Blacks still with the ball after the turnover. Crum calls his number, and Crum breaks free and has another touchdown, Ottawa. Well, Crum doesn't call his own number much anymore, not like earlier this season, but it worked out well for him that time.
Yeah, we said that the opportunities for him to do this have become fewer and farther between as teams have really keyed on shutting down his ability on the run. But at the right moment, the right call, the right decision by the quarterback to keep the football. As the contained player crashed down on the running back, he pulls it, turns it into a big touchdown run, and a 3-score lead here in the 4th quarter for the Ottawa Redblacks.
How much is enough for the Red Blacks to feel comfortable the way things have gone this season? Point after Michael Donegal after a 35-yarder, and the lead is extended, and so many of their points, 25 of them now, off Saskatchewan turnovers. Red Blacks are pulling away here in the fourth quarter. Season, and have another look at it, 35 yards away.
Yeah, and you can see he's got the ball in the gut of the running back. End crashes down. He reads it perfectly, pulls it, keeps himself, bounces to the outside, makes a couple more miss. Beautifully executed play by Dustin Crum and the Red Blacks.
Some smiles on the sideline. Still 6:12 to go in a league where, as the saying goes, no lead is safe. We shall see with Alford. The ball in his hands and looking for a big return. He gets it up to the Rider 40, but it's 22 points that Ottawa leads this time in the fourth quarter, desperately needing a victory after 7 straight losses. They were 3-3 at
during
one
the
point.
return, holding Saskatchewan number 32. 10-yard penalty, first down, Saskatchewan.
The penalty against the Riders, but yeah, after their back-to-back overtime wins over Winnipeg and Calgary, they'd improved to 3-3, and then just everything fell apart for Bob Dice's team. A lot of close losses, as we told you about. And they have back-to-back games against the Alouettes coming up after this one, as they're trying to keep their faint playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, part of the challenge for Ottawa in that playoff race has been the fact that they're winless against their own division.
Right.
0-6 to this point against the East, but it's all East. 4 games against divisional opponents the rest of the way.
Back-to-back against Montreal, and then they close it out with back-to-back against the Argos. Stearns on the completion, but have a look at the East standings as they are right now. Coming into this, Ottawa coming in with a record of 3-10, and those 6 points, they were closer to the Ticats, who pulled away. Big win a couple of weeks ago here in Ottawa. Hamilton playing the Argos tomorrow. We'll be at that. Later tonight, BC and Edmonton, and you know the Alberta teams are still hanging on and thinking of possibly a crossover or catching the Riders.
And you look at them at Ottawa finishing up with 2 games against Toronto and think, based on records, etc. so far, those might be a foregone conclusion.
More pressure on Jake Dolegala. That kind of night. Bryce Carter coming in and adding to his sack totals, the sack leader for the Red Blacks, who is still down.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
Carter coming from that right defensive end spot. Play into the field, gets underneath the pads of Eric Lofton on that one. Second sack tonight for him, as you see Bob Dice, but just in getting back to the Ottawa-Toronto matchups in the season, we don't know what kind of lineup we're going to see the Argos fielding in the last couple of weeks of the season, as they've already clinched first place. We know there will be some roster management, basically, as they try to go into the playoffs healthy and strong as much as they can down the stretch. So
we'll see how that lineup looks in their first game since clinching when they host Hamilton tomorrow at BMO Field. Under 5 minutes here. Commanding lead now by Ottawa, looking for just their 4th win of the season. Flags come out as the defense rises up again and takes Dolegala down. Kenny Onyeka getting in on the act.
Yeah, this is
legal block, hands to the face, Saskatchewan number 52. Penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, this is feeding frenzy time for a defensive line. Saskatchewan's been so good running the football in this ball game. We've talked a lot about Frankie Hickson, but down 3 scores under 5 minutes to go. Ottawa knows they've got to throw the football. Their D-line pass rushers just have their ears pinned back. It's a tough situation for Dolegala, a tough situation for the Riders O-line.
With the punting unit coming on with a 3rd down and 21. Adam Korsak. 2 returners back for the Red Blacks. This game really hinging on the final minute of the first half. Here's Tobias Harris, one of the returners, and Brandon Dandridge. It was in that final minute of the first half. 2 Saskatchewan turnovers led to 11 Red Blacks points. They had trailed and they went ahead, and they have not relinquished that lead, just built on it. Korsak the punt. taken by Tobias Harris. Midfield for a punt of 38. He gets it inside. The 45 of Saskatchewan. The U.S. ambassador to Canada, David L. Cohen, with an interest in the Canadian Football League game tonight. With more, let's go back to Claire.
Yeah, Rod, and no matter what side of the political spectrum you sit on, I think that we can all vote to accept that, yes, we should accept every fan into the CFL. And the U.S. ambassador to Canada, David Cohen, is attending his first CFL game. Now, earlier this summer, he was in Regina. He got a tour of Mosaic Stadium. Craig Dickinson said, I knew there was somebody important here because of all the Secret Service. And he met a couple players. He actually gave Micah Johnson and Tevin Jones this high-ranking coin, signed some footballs for them. But it was a really exciting time. And now he's wearing a Red Black shirt tonight. He got a Riders jersey when he was in Saskatchewan, and I asked him who he was going to be cheering for. He said, no, I'm not going to cheer for a team. I'm just going to cheer for all the Americans on both sides of the field, guys.
Well, Claire, I guess he's got to be careful working right now in the nation's capital.
That's right.
Had his time with the Saskatchewan Roughriders earlier, as Claire pointed out. And, with the red-black colors on now and a pretty neutral look on his face, but it's the home side, at least home for now, for the ambassador, with a big lead of 22 points and with the football, too, in Saskatchewan zone. With 3.5 minutes to go. And it is taken by Williams down to the 40. And the Riders, who were so on an emotional high 3 weeks ago in the Labor Day game when they beat Winnipeg, only to see the Bombers get their revenge a week later, and then having the lead last week at home against the Elks, and Edmonton came back and beat them. So now below 500 at 6-7, but still a solid third in the West, but certainly not comfortable. We'll see later tonight what the Elks can do against the BC Lions. Part 2 of the doubleheader coming up. The punt by Leone. Trying to pin him deep. Mario Alford taken down deep. Punt of 34. And Onyeka in on the special teams tackle again on Alford. Nice night in the nation's capital, especially for the Ottawa REDBLACKS at this point. All right, thank you, Kate. So part 2 of the doubleheader already underway with the Lions in front in Edmonton. And the Saskatchewan 9, and Dolagala was hit as he was throwing that. The receivers in the area, both Bain and Jones, but it falls incomplete. It's such a good start for Jake Dolagala. He's 22 of 31 now, and as I say, the turnovers more than anything else have really been costly.
Yeah, we mentioned the situation now. Tough one with the D-line just teeing off. Cleon Lang, quick inside move there. The latest to deliver some punishment to the Saskatchewan QB.
Frankie Hickson gets a chance to carry it again, and he does, getting it out across the 20 and a first down for the Riders, but time the enemy for Saskatchewan now, just 2.5 minutes on the clock.
And some element of surprise here for Saskatchewan running the football, but obviously not sustainable given the score and time remaining.
Deeper look, intercepted. Right into the hands of Lamont for his second pick of the night. The last one was arguably the biggest play of this game, given how it turned late in the first half when he took his first interception down near the Rider end zone. But that one pretty much seals the deal with a 3-touchdown lead in Ottawa with the football again.
And you see Lamont at halfback, about the 30-yard line, is just going to get deep. Obviously, they don't want anything going over their heads. You know, and for Dolagala, I just talked about score and situation. Score and time remaining. He's got to get the ball down the field. He's got to take some shots. It's tough to fault him for that one.
The turnover score, 5-1. Saskatchewan just couldn't hang on to the football on this night, and it's reflected on the board now. 25 REDBLACKS points scored off turnovers. They have the ball now, 2:16 on the clock, and they can taste that end to the 7-game losing streak, which will be just their 4th victory of the season. that keeps them barely hanging around in the playoff race.
That's you, bro. Hey, mama, I love you. Keyshawn, that's 2 of them today. I wonder what you got today, bro.
He gets the hammer.
Yes, sir. He's earned it. Big night.
Sure has.
For DeAndre Lamont. Dustin Crum gets a break. Tyrell Pigram getting an opportunity to get some late game reps here.
The Rider fans not too happy right now, but it's a great thing about Saskatchewan fans. We keep saying it. You see them everywhere, wherever the Riders play. Green and white jerseys, and not a happy result for them tonight as their team's about to fall to 6-8. And a change at quarterback with Pigram in right now and a 2nd down and long. It's like Crum's day is done. Back to Devontae Williams driving down towards the 45. And you got that Lions game against the Elks underway now. Saskatchewan's game is next week at BC Place.
Timeout, Ottawa. Timeout, Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan's timeout.
Not a happy camper, eh?
Not happy at all. And we're projecting Saskatchewan to lose this game and fall to 6-8. Winnipeg at 10-4. BC on the field now and leading Edmonton. The Lions can win. They had matching 10-4 records, and those two teams meet again before the end of the season at BC Place. But Saskatchewan, if the Lions win especially, the dream of catching second would look really daunting, and then it becomes staying ahead of Edmonton and Calgary in the West. And as it stands coming in, they do have the 4-point lead over each of them, the Elks and the Stampeders. Saskatchewan ball. Alford breaks free. Here we go. Mario Alford. Still going. Might be too late. Gets into the end zone for what would be his 3rd return touchdown of the season. But as you can see, a flag is out. But could this be against the Red Blacks for a horse collar? In that case, Alford would indeed have his 3rd return touchdown of the season.
Yeah, I think it'll be against Leone, who almost stopped him, but grabbed him by the horse collar.
Major foul, horse collar tackle, Ottawa number 13. That 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff. Touchdown is good.
So Alford, who got 2 touchdowns in 1 game against Calgary back in week 6, and there's number 3, and you see it was Leone who nearly got him, but that also got the flag.
Yeah, Alford keeping his balance, taking it to the house. Yeah, again, late in the game, punts can be returned for touchdowns too, regarding the decision last week. So,
and all the flags that Bob Dice took for the field goal try. Going for 2 to Tevin Jones, falls incomplete. And it remains a 16-point game with 1 minute and 29 seconds on the clock here at TD Place.
Brandon Dandridge supplying the coverage on that one. Nonetheless, terrific effort here from Mario Alford and the Saskatchewan Special Teams unit. Alford, always dangerous. Giving his team a little bit of late game hope. Much of a sliver as it may be at this point.
Well, minute and a half is not much time. They need 2 touchdowns with 2 two-point converts. Not impossible. That's all I'll say about that.
Not impossible.
Not impossible.
In the CFL world.
I know. We almost got the horse collar here.
Understand the Elks have tied it up against BC, and it was not with that much more time, under 3 minutes to go, that the Red Blacks here in Ottawa trailed Winnipeg by 16, got a pick 6. Now they did have about a minute longer, but they ended up getting 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point converts and ended up winning it in overtime. Ty Gray had a pick 6 for Edmonton in a tie game there. And Korsak didn't go 10 yards, though, as a flag does come out. Korsak, it was touched, though, by the Red Blacks.
Yeah, Red Blacks player went to go and block his responsibility. The ball never popped up in the air on the kick. It was along the ground.
There's no flag on the play. Ottawa touched the ball first before it went 10 yards. First down, Saskatchewan.
So there you go. Rider football on the short kick.
So you've got your hands team out there. Basically, the guys in the front row, their job is to block. So they turn to block, let the guys in behind get the ball, but it hits Bryce Carter's foot as he's focused on his blocking responsibility. Ball bounces right back to Adam Korsak. And that negates the need for the ball to have gone 10 yards.
That's complete inside the 50 to Stearns. Time of the essence, 1:21. Flag comes out for that late hit.
And now you're going to see a 15-yard penalty.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Ottawa number 28. 15 yards at the end of the play and an automatic first down.
Frankie Griffin coming in late there, and Jarrett Stearns.
Ball at the Ottawa 33-yard line with still a minute 21 left.
Not over yet. Stranger things have happened. Riders are down. They need a touchdown, obviously, with a 2-point conversion. 1:21 on the clock. Dolagala. It's complete at the 20 and inside. And taken down there. 1:14.
Saskatchewan proving very resilient here.
I was going to say, if it was any other team but Ottawa that's been through so much in games they felt that they should win and ended up losing, you'd understand it. Things are just getting a little bit more tense down near the goal line. It's caught by Schaefer Baker. It'll be a 1st and goal coming up here for the Riders with 1:06 to go. And tension is increasing.
Yeah, and love this from Dolagala in a game in which he's had problems with turnovers and so on, but unshaken as he just steps up and delivers a strike here to Keon Schaefer Baker down at the 1-yard line.
You just get that feeling if Ottawa's going to end this long losing streak, it just can't happen as easily as it looked like it might. As Saskatchewan's on the doorstep, they need the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to make it a 1-score game. Still 1:06 on the clock. Coleman, the injured Red Black.
He makes his way to the sidelines. It's the combination of the short kick and the penalty that have allowed Saskatchewan to get down here while using very little time.
Antonio Pipkin. Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
Take a look down the line here. Not a lot of movement there. I think you can see right there, it looks like the ball has crossed that front plane of the goal line.
Clearly breaks the plane. Touchdown, Riders. They need a 2-point conversion. Get it down to a score. And took them only 27 seconds to do it. 1 minute even on the clock. It's never easy for the Red Blacks the way this season has gone. And it's certainly not looking easy now. Saskatchewan, a huge 2-point try coming up here, though. To knock it from 10 to 8 points. receivers to the right. Dolegala looks that way. Into the end zone at 2. One-score game, 1 minute to go. Samuel Emelis with the catch for the 2-point conversion. And back come the Riders. Not over yet.
And I like the play call here. Saskatchewan really only has the 3 receivers involved in this route. They're going max protection, keeping the back in, double tight ends here. Just working the one side of the field, put their faith in those guys to make plays. It's Emelis who gets open on the sideline first. A relatively easy throw for Dolegala.
Even if Ottawa can find a way to hang on and win this game, and they are up 8 still, they must be wondering just what they have to do to not only get a victory, but to do it decisively. It's just they had a 2-score lead, a couple of touchdowns ahead of Montreal last month. Alouettes came back, and at the very end of the game, Caleb Evans took it in for the go-ahead as the Alouettes won last week, and BC with a 19-point lead in the 4th quarter. Shutout in that final 15-23-0 to lose that one. And yeah, you can sense it on their fans of the team leading by 8 points right now, and you wouldn't know it. Things have gotten quiet here at TD Place. Another short kick. And this time the Red Blacks do get on it. Jalen Ackland coming in for an all-important recovery. 59 seconds to go on the clock. And Ottawa does have a possession in the Saskatchewan zone to see if they can put this thing away.
And Ottawa a little more aware of the ball on the ground on this one. Bryce Carter that time lifting his foot out of the way, allowing Ackland to come up and get it. But it's kind of a unique short kick. Usually you expect either the sky kick to the sidelines or else that sort of 3 bounce and pop up in the air kick. Well, this one's strictly along the ground, and I think it really caught Ottawa off guard the first time.
The Red Blacks taking nothing for granted now. 59 seconds, 8-point lead. First down now, Williams running. Taken down inside the 35. 2nd and short coming up. Kahari Jones, the offensive coordinator. Just a crucial series here for the Red Blacks and for Jason Fraser and or Shivers, excuse me, Jason Shivers and the Riders defense, their defensive coordinator.
Anticipate keeping this one on the ground.
2nd and 3. Gets it inside the 30. That's a first down, Ottawa.
Another great run for Devontae Williams to pick up perhaps the most massive first down of the night for the Ottawa Red Blacks. See him bounce it all the way back outside and get out of the traffic. Dustin Crum, of course, back in at quarterback now, as Terrell Pigram had come on for the previous possession for Ottawa, but back to their starter to try and take care of business here.
And that leads to victory formation. One a long time coming for the Ottawa Red Blacks as Crum takes a knee. And Bob Dice takes off the headset as they can finally celebrate now. Not as easy as it looked like it might be. But finally for the Ottawa Red Blacks, the losing streak is over. Win number 4 as they beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight. 36-28 it ends up.
Well, the Ottawa Red Blacks with an outstanding defensive performance, some timely takeaways, and another strong effort from Dustin Crum managed to get it done. Turnovers the difference in this one, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders certainly not going away easy. Battling right to the end of this one. Another fantastic close finish here in the Canadian Football League.
Oh, the Red Blacks at one point were 3-3. They lost 7 in a row, and many of those 7 were games where they had a lead and couldn't hang on. This one